What is up, YouTube? This is Paul back with another video. In today's video, I'm just going to talk about one of my favourite comedies of all time. Well, I actually have more than one favourite comedy, but I'll get into that one just in a few minutes. For those of for those of you that do know me, you will know that I am a big Only Fools and Horses fan. I love the characters Del Boy, played by David Jason. I also love Rodney, played by Nicholas Lyndhurst. But one of my other favourite comedies of all time is actually starring Nicholas Lyndhurst. He plays the role of a character called Gary Sparrow in the legendary comedy called Goodnight, Sweetheart. There were 10 series made. Yeah, 10 series made. I've got the whole box set. Basically, the whole plot in Goodnight, Sweetheart, the story is basically he fixes televisions for a living, and he's married to a woman called Yvonne Sparrow, which was played by an actress called, I think it was Michelle Holmes. And then anyway, basically the first episode, it shows you what's going on in his daily life. He's struggling to earn a living. Him and his wife, they're living in a middle class house. And anyway, it's one day Gary Sparrow he gets a call out to an address to go to fix a TV or something. And is looking for an address in London called, I think it's Duckett's Passage. He's trying to find Duckett's Passage, and he's trying to find a house in Duckett's Passage. And he asks a copper, and he gives him directions on where to go. And anyway, he follows the directions. Anyway, he stops at where the copper told him to go, gets out of the car, and anyway, he walks down this little pavement, and he doesn't realise it, but at the time, he thinks it's just, it's a themed pub. He stumbles into a pub, and everything inside the pub looks like 1940s, and he thinks it's a themed pub. He thinks, it's a 1940s themed pub, And anyway, he starts talking to the bar lady, who in the program is called Phoebe Bamford. And anyway, they get talking, and later on they start hitting it off. But this Phoebe Bamford, she's married to a bloke who's actually fighting in the war. And anyway, they have they have a little thing, and but anyway, Gary doesn't realise that he's gone through a time warp. But then when he hears like a bomb going off, and everyone's the barman, which is Phoebe's father, when Gary hears him shout, "Everyone down to the basement," and he's looking around thinking, what's going on? And it's later on, when he's in the basement, he realises A, he's either dreaming, or B, something incredible's happened, and somehow he's gone back to the 1940s. And anyway, after all that's happened, the bombs have stopped dropping, and Gary, he has to go home. He comes out the pub, and he's hoping he gets back to the 1990s. And but yeah, anyway, that's the story of Goodnight, Sweetheart. He's from the 90s. and it keeps going on like adventures in the 1940s. You know, it keeps going backwards and forwards. He spends some time in the 1940s and some time in the 1990s. But in later on in Goodnight Sweetheart, he ends up having a baby with this Phoebe from the 1940s, and he ends up getting married to Phoebe too. So, you know, he's got two wives. He's got a wife in the 1990s and a wife in the 1940s, but he only has the one kid in the 1940s. But him and his wife in the 1990s, Yvonne Sparrow, she wants to have a baby, but Gary is like, well, he's thinking, well, I've already got a baby in the 1940s, and how is this going to work, you know, financially, you know? But yeah, that is oh yeah, and also he has a best friend called Ron Wheatcroft, who only he knows about Gary's secret, that he has the ability to go back to the past. But yeah, it's a very funny comedy. Later on in the episodes, he actually opens a shop selling things from the 1940s, you know, like antiques and, you know, collectibles from the 1940s, like old postcards, old programs for like football games in the 1940s, old record players, you know, masks from the war, all that kind of stuff. He actually makes a living doing that, and well, after he gets fired from his job because, you know, he tried to drive his work van after he'd been drinking. But yeah, he ends up having his own business selling, you know, antiques. He calls his business Blitz and Pieces. And but yeah, it's a very good comedy. It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. If you like Nicholas Lyndhurst in Only Fools and Horses, which is, by the way, one of my favourite comedies of all time, followed by Goodnight Sweetheart, you'll love the character that Nicholas Lyndhurst plays in Goodnight Sweetheart. It's a very funny comedy. It also educates you on what life was like in the 1940s, but funny at the same time. So yeah, if you any of you ever watch this, yeah, it is a good comedy. You'll enjoy it. So anyway, that's my video for today. Just talking about one of my favourite comedies of all time, Goodnight Sweetheart. Fantastic comedy. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try and get some more videos up in the future. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.